G'day mates, it's a Doctor here, and in my last video I talked about how Konami can improve scripted dueling, and very briefly I showed a list of characters I want to see duel each other. The more I thought about it after making that video, I figured why not go into more depth, because scripted dueling is as close as to real life Yu-Gi-Oh as we will get, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh fanfiction coming to life. Now before we go any further, I just want to say the only rule for this list is each character must be from a different generation, as this is my favourite part about scripted dueling aside from the actors reprising their roles. But the second thing I want to say is this video will not be as heavily edited as I would normally do for my videos because I'm very busy these days, but I do want to keep my channel active so my subscribers won't miss out any of my content. So if you are subscribed, please ring the bell, as I don't know how much longer I can make a video every week. But with that out of the way, let's get to the list. Starting at the bottom of the barrel is Rex Raptor vs Go Onizuka. This one, to put it bluntly, is a mirror match of dinosaurs, with Rex's generic dinosaurs versus Onizuka's Dino Wrestlers. But Dino Wrestlers themselves are unfortunately one of the weakest archetypes this generation, so in the future, if they ever receive game-changing cards like how Cyber Dragons have gotten, then it would be fun to see Dino Wrestlers actually competitive. As for Rex, because he uses any dinosaur cards, I think it would be easy to write his character in a scripted duel. Unless Konami wants to include newer versions of Serpent Knight Dragon or Tyrant Dragon. But yeah, we can speculate how this duel would go down if it happened, but let's move on to number 9. Shark vs Mako Tsunami. So yes, it's another mirror match in a way, however, I think there could be some great dialogue between these two, arguing which species rules the ocean, whales or sharks. Because Shark uses sharks and Mako has Fortress Whale. But of course, what would the new support be? As I said in another video, I'm still waiting for a fish-type number monster to be made, as well as the rank-up magic of number 17 Leviathan Dragon. While Mako's Fortress Whale can become an archetype of itself. I mean, if it happened to Simorgh or Sacred Phoenix, then it can happen to any card really. At number 8 is Mai vs Blue Angel. Something I noticed with scripted dueling is there is yet to be a duel which two female duelists face each other. So I think it would be fun seeing these two characters going head to head, although I really don't know which cards they would use, seeing as how Mai is known for Harpy Ladies and Amazons, while Blue Angel is known for Trickstars and Marincesses. There's a lot of ways a duel like this can play out, which that alone makes it more exciting, and not to mention a display of girl power. At number 7 is Bandit Keith vs Revolver. Simply put, these two guys are related to guns, Revolver for his name, and Bandit Keith because he's American. I know guns is something the TCG tries to stay away from, but I think there could be some snappy dialogue between these two arguing who has the most intimidating firearms in their deck with all the censorships and stuff. We could have had this duel earlier this year with Revolver's structure deck coming out very soon, but that doesn't mean either character will never again see newer support for their respective decks. Maybe Bandit Keith will receive newer versions of the card Cannon Soldier. But much like Shark vs Mako, I think the chemistry between these two is worth a scripted duel alone. Number 6 is Seto Kaiba vs Chazz Princeton. Imagine these two rich kids battling out who has the most expensive cards, Blue Eyes White Dragons or Ojamas. I mean, the fact these two have very similar personalities, being the snobby, boastful rich boys, is another scripted duel I want to see for their chemistry alone. Now yes, Blue Eyes does have a ton of support cards already, so maybe Seto Kaiba can use the A to Z Union cards while Chazz uses his armed dragons with the Ojamas. Because last year, Konami had the crazy idea of combining these two archetypes together, but unfortunately they've yet to reprint the Ojama brothers. As a matter of fact, we already know Ojamas are getting new support with their Link monster Ojama Emperor, so maybe there is some hope for an armed dragon Ojama set if they get additional support. Coming into the top 5 is Shea vs Zane. To be completely honest, I may not know much about Shea, as I said Arc 5 is the only show I skipped over, but someone did tell me at a tournament that Shea's voice actor, Matt Shipman, is very passionate about Yu-Gi-Oh! And one of the only reasons the Arc 5 dub is tolerable to watch, in that guy's own words. And not long ago, on another occasion, there was a kid trying to build a Raid Raptor deck at a tournament. So I think it's safe to say Raid Raptors are a fan favorite. Then there is Zane, who is another fan favorite character, and Cyber Dragons have gotten really popular again lately. But I don't think Cyber Dragons need even more support, but perhaps it will be a case like Joey vs Ishizu, where Shea gets his brand new Raid Raptor support in a future set, and Zane can show the power of all his Cyber Dragons released in recent years. Number 4. Joey vs Kite. This is a duel I strongly believe can happen for a number of reasons, such as the fact they use a Dragon Eyes archetype consisting of Red Eyes and Galaxy Eyes. And even today, both archetypes receive newer cards like Red Eyes Alternative Black Dragon and Galaxy Eyes Soul Flare Dragon. Another factor that could play out in a duel like this is with Kite being a number hunter, Joey Wheeler can poke fun at him that he too uses the power of the numbers, through the result of the dice cards like Graceful Dice and Skull Dice. Now if I was to choose who I want to see win, it would be Joey Wheeler, because despite appearing in 3 scripted duels, Joey Wheeler has yet to have a single win. So please Konami, let this be the duel that Joey claims his victory. Number 3. Alexis vs Emma, also known as Ghost Girl. Probably the 2 most popular archetypes used by any female duelist, Cyber Angels vs Altergeist would be an amazing duel. Especially since Arc 5 kind of failed us, with Alexis only shown dueling twice, so we barely got to see her new Cyber Angels at the time in action. Now since then, we've had Duelist Pack 4 giving great boosts for Cyber Angels along with the Incantation cards, so Cyber Angels could be a competitive deck. As for Altergeist and the character Ghost Girl, it hasn't been much better. For one, Ghost Girl has only won one duel, and that was against Shima, who is arguably the most pathetic duelist in Vrains, so I barely count that as a win. While the popularity of Altergeists might have died down, a lot of us still recognize them as they were meta for a while. So we know how strong they can be, and this is why Alexis vs Ghost Girl takes 3rd place on the list, as well as another opportunity to be the first 2 female duelists going head to head in a scripted duel. At 2nd place I am putting Sartorius vs Callan. Remember in the GX anime with the Arcana Force cards always having a rotation mechanic instead of a coin toss like in real life? Imagine how funny it would be if we saw this in a live action duel on stage. I think it would be hilarious. As we know in Duel Links, there are unused lines in the game showcasing both characters declaring card names that have not been released yet, which indicates both characters are getting new support in the near future. So what better way to show us the new cards than a scripted duel? There's also the fact it's 2 villains clashing each other, one that represents the light and the other represents the darkness. Whatever the outcome would be, I think we can agree this would be one of the most unique scripted duels we would ever see. Finally at number 1 is Jaden vs You Saku. There's a lot of reasons why this takes place at number 1. For starters, they are both main characters for a Yu-Gi-Oh series. They have also yet to appear on stage for a scripted duel. The third reason is Jaden's always a very sociable character, while You Saku has the opposite personality and is a very isolated character and can be quite antisocial at times. And how can anyone not like Elemental Heroes, one of the most iconic archetypes of all time, and I wish to see them gain support outside the Neos archetype. Like Elemental Heroes Scorching Flame Wingman, or Corona Wingman, or a fusion of Bastinatrix and Sparkman, or Clayman and Sparkman. I can go on forever with potential for the original Elemental Heroes. As for You Saku, I guarantee he will have a new boss monster by the time Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains ends. Whether that is a Link 6 monster or a Firewall Dragon Code Talker hybrid. Whatever it may be, whatever is installed for the future, Jaden vs You Saku is my #1 most requested scripted duel. Thank you for watching this video, and please leave a comment what you think of this list, and which characters do you want to see duel each other. But if you like this video, be sure to check out my last video as I explain how scripted duels can be improved for the future. And until next time, take care, mates.